go for that build we saw earlier with the Finn that stops a lot of the damage, and it sets up for a later Celeste pick. You know, it is a strong front line to protect that back line.
That's true. I mean, they pick up the Kestrel, so you're basically assuming Gankstars Cerberus is going to go Celeste. They get the Arden as well. I would rather have seen them pick up Catherine from the side of Rising Lotus. Like, you almost 100% know Cerberus is going to finish this out with a Celeste pick. I think Rising Lotus could have been a little bit smarter in the draft, actually played with it just a little more to put things into their favor. When you have Finn and Lance in the front line, Rhyme is a very...
Honestly, this is Gankstars' game to win.
All right, well, let's see if they can pull it out. Gankstars Cerberus up against Rising Lotus in the finals for Week 3 of this first split of the Evil 8. We're going to be passing on over to our shoutcasters, Xscoundrel and CyberOwl.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm CyberOwl, joined here by Xscoundrel, and we're going to be looking at the finals for today between Rising Lotus and Gankstars Cerberus. Between these two compositions, I like Rising Lotus's a little bit better. They're going back to the Samuel Kestrel yet again, but this time, instead of having the Finn, they have the Arden. So what do you think about the Arden pickup here?
Arden's an interesting one. It provides a big element of peel for both Samuel and Kestrel just by having that gauntlet on board. And obviously then you have the ability to speed them up as well using Vanguard and provide that ever-useful shield. So we saw this work yesterday, I believe, and it worked quite well. You know, you just had that ability to speed up those core carries that you wanted to keep safe. And that's pretty useful against both Lance and Finn. You know, that speed up can get them out of the range of Force Accord. That speed up can stop them from getting impaled. So I like the addition of Arden here. It's pretty interesting. Just a side note, Cyber, I've got to give you a big congratulations. I heard you signed to a record label just in that break.
I know, right? I apparently am going to be starting up a rap career at some point. I expect to really have that take off in the next week or so.
Yeah, man, I don't know. What's the title of your first album?
I want to incorporate burrito in some way to the title. I'm not 100% sure as to what it's going to be yet, though.
The Burrito Blues, a rap symphony by CyberOwl. First song is Arden and the Carries.
Yes, that is indeed the title. Oh, and it looks like we might actually be seeing a potential engagement here. Justman eating a bit of damage there from Techno JJ. Not going to be getting any further damage onto him, though. One thing I wanted to talk about briefly about the Arden pickup, though, is that Gauntlet also being a great tool to help that Drifting Dark, Malice, and Verdict combination work out very well, because it isolates them in a very small area where Samuel can just run rampant.
Absolutely, and obviously, you know, Drifting Dark is such a powerful tool, especially against these two big melee beefy frontliners, and you also aren't running double crystal power. So we saw, I believe, Gankstars run this exact composition against a double crystal power composition previously, and they were just able to stack shielding, and they were just untouchable. But at this point, you know, you've got the weapon power Kestrel as well, so it won't be as easy to itemize defensively for Gankstars Cerberus this time.
That in mind, they were doing a really good job poking out Keanu Nakoa here in the lane. Iraqi Zoro landed a really good core collapse onto him and got so much poke that Justman was forced to Vanguard onto him and forced him to use all of his potions as well. So right now, a really good amount of pressure being put on by Gankstars Cerberus. So Rising Lotus's composition are going to have to really start scaling up soon if they want to try and return some damage, but they really have to take into account the damage that potentially could come out of Techno JJ.
Yeah, absolutely. Techno JJ always needs to be respected. If he lands an impale onto a target that is squishy, they will go down. I mean, look at that damage.
So much damage onto Keanu Nakoa, and they're chasing him down. Techno JJ landing another basic attack, stopping that active camo. There's the Polite Company not going to be in range. Keanu Nakoa just barely going to be able to escape. Lure going to be trying to get out of dodge here, but is going to be able to do so. And Keanu Nakoa just barely getting away from Net Toilet there, who just walked right up to him, wasn't able to throw down a basic attack in time. But Gankstars Cerberus really putting down the pressure. On the other side of the map, though, we do see Iraqi Zoro getting taken down by Lure with those Malice and Verdicts. Techno JJ now eating a lot of damage there in return just from the Arden and Samuel combination. And Net Toilet now just trying to soak up as much damage as possible, allowing Techno JJ to get out alive.
Wow, Techno JJ gaping by a sliver of his life right there. But fantastic play. Rising Lotus actually managed to pick up the kill, which is pretty crazy. I also want to note the Tension Bow build coming out from Techno JJ. That will probably likely go into Stormcrown afterwards, or it could go into a Sorrow Blade. We've seen multiple choices. Actually, Net Toilet, as I say that, just somehow got caught out there by Lure and Justman. And Rising Lotus, oh, Humanist would be very sad. They've actually started to gain a lead here.
That was a really strange call from Net Toilet to stick around as long as he did. Had he just opted to walk towards his lane, it probably would have been a better opportunity for him to actually stay alive, but at this point, not too much can be said about it. Mistakes happen, and Rising Lotus are up 2 kills to 0 with a very slight gold deficit, actually. And now it just got evened up, but with that in mind, it goes to show how much Gankstars Cerberus are able to farm up here. And Techno JJ, just one basic attack. Look how much damage it did to Just Man.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous right now. Just if you can land any kind of ability as Techno JJ at this point in time, your tension boat is going to start chunking through people. This is the time for them to try and set up as many fights as possible. You know, before the gauntlet is there for Just Man, just try and land as many of those impales as wow, Iraqi Zoro starts to take a lot of damage.
But Just Man gets caught in that core collapse. One more hit from Techno JJ with that Githian wall does secure the kill. That gives 1 kill, finally going over to Gankstars Cerberus, as the Fountain of Renewal does now get completed by Just Man. But with that, now it seems like it's on Rising Lotus to just kind of get themselves back up to speed and get themselves back on the pace that they were at the beginning of the game. Because Gankstars, now that they got that 1 kill, they're going to start building up their confidence and start riding the momentum that they had after taking against that 2-0 series against G2 earlier today.
Absolutely. Rising Lotus have been impressive. They had to try and fight their way through that best of 3 versus Snow Avalanche, but eventually they made it all the way through. And that, like you said, that kind of adds to momentum. You know, they have that win off against the team that won the European Live Championships. And then this is a team that, you know, weren't expected to do as well this split. I know they had some additions that has kind of made their team a little bit more well-rounded. Just Man coming back was a pretty huge thing for them. But when riding off that momentum, they could potentially try and upset Gankstars Cerberus here, because we talked about that 2-0 that Gankstars Cerberus had. They looked super strong. We thought they were pegged to win this entire weekend. But Rising Lotus are looking to have their own say about that.
Rising Lotus they're looking to go ahead and be the blue shell here, as Gankstars Cerberus kind of looking out of sorts here in the early part of this game. Lure doing a nice amount of damage with those Malice and Verdicts. And like you mentioned before, there's also a slight difference between the momentum that both Gankstars Cerberus and Rising Lotus are having. Rising Lotus only just won and are just coming off of their victory, whereas Gankstars Cerberus had a bit of a cooldown period.
Absolutely. But we know what Gankstars Cerberus are capable, and specifically we know what Iraqi Zoro is capable of on this Celeste. Absolute monster in the late game. Has been one of the most impressive Celestes I think we've seen this weekend. I think we've only seen a couple, and the only other one was potentially Aidslip from, I think that's SK Gaming. But Iraqi Zoro has been fantastic, and he has been thoroughly impressive. He's already finished up that Broken Myth, so we'll start to get those stacks burning as we head towards team fights. But it's really going to be whether the engage is there for Gankstars Cerberus. There isn't yet a Crucible. This could be the time to strike, but there is individual reflex blocks on all members right now of Rising Lotus.
And right now, Gankstars trying to put the pressure in onto Keanu Nakoa. And that's honestly what you have to do, especially against this Kestrel. You force Lure to go right back up to the lane and be there with Just Man, waiting for a fight to break out. Level 6 from that Toilet. They're waiting for the opportunity to throw down a Force the Cord, maybe looking for that Samuel, and they're going to catch him. There's the Core Collapse, and there's all the damage stacking onto him. Solar Storm takes him out of the fold, and that's going to be 1 kill going over to Iraqi Zoro on that Celeste. And now Just Man and Keanu Nakoa forced to defend this turret on their own as the rest of Gankstars start to rotate down towards the gold mine.
That was we saw that combination time and time again, and actually the analysts on the desk highlighted it, that they were just able to coordinate their abilities over and over again. You know, that Solar Storm was always used in conjunction. One shot, one kill doesn't get the kill, and they actually managed to secure that gold mine. Just Man will be able to escape, won't pay for his life with it, and now Gankstars Cerberus looking to consolidate and try and clear that wave after taking the gold mine.
And right now, Gankstars, that's exactly what they needed. They need to start utilizing the Celeste to just shred people apart. Have that Force the Cord into a Core Collapse, have an Impale coming in right before the Core Collapse is going to wear out, and then you're just stacking all of that CC, and on top of that, the Impale does so much damage. You have Solar Storm wrecking through the HP bars of Rising Lotus, and there's just no chance to survive there, especially not for somebody like Samuel. A lot of damage just went down onto Just Man after he dove in with that Blood for Blood onto Net Toilet. Iraqi Zoro doing a really good job with these Heliogenesis of his and these Supernovas. But right now, it seems like the confidence for Gankstars Cerberus is really starting to show.
Yeah, they need to be... Rising Lotus need to be the ones who are just trying to use those reflex blocks. They don't use it this time.
And Lure nearly going to get taken out. That last basic attack from Techno JJ secures the kill. Justman going to try and keep himself alive. Does use the Fountain of Renewal and does manage to keep himself alive. 1 kill going over to Gankstars Cerberus. And we did just also get the poll results. It is 90% to Gankstars Cerberus, 10% to Rising Lotus. What do you think about those numbers?
I think that's what everybody was expecting, to be honest, both analysts and chat. Rising Lotus looked like they were putting up a good fight, but it's up to these individual mistakes, and oh my word, another combination comes through.
And that is another kill going over to 2 Techno JJ. Keanu Nakoa going to be the only one alive here for Rising Lotus. Gets caught with the Impale and 1 more hit with Techno JJ's basic attack. That's a double kill picked up for Gankstars Cerberus as well as a turret. 5 kills to 2 in their favor and a 2,000 gold lead 10 minutes into the game. Such a fantastic start for Gankstars after having a relatively rough first couple of minutes.
For sure, Gankstars Cerberus found their on switch, and that on switch was level 6. Once they hit that, they were managing to combo their abilities quite nicely. This has to come down to Rising Lotus's ability to, individually be able to use those reflex blocks. They need to block that forced accord. If they block it, then they actually have a small advantage in a team fight because they have superior range from multiple sources of damage. You've got Samuel, you've got Kestrel, you have 2 moderately good long-range threats. I say moderately good, and Samuel's fantastic. So they need to be able to block the only ability that's going to be dragging them into melee range, which is where the Gankstars Cerberus squad is going to start to shine. Iraqi Zoro, though, we saw that last time he was going up against 2 range threats, and they still managed to find their way in. 1 shot, 1 kill. Won't land here, but another pull goes through.
And a nice Impale coming in from Techno JJ. They're trying to get the damage in. Justman goes in with the Gauntlet. He's going to be locking down Techno JJ and that Toilet, but the Iraqi Zoro is just outside of it, not able to output any damage any further. Lure doing a really good job poking with those Malice and Verdicts, not going to be able to secure any kills, but Rising Lotus were able to dissuade Gankstars Cerberus from pushing any further. Iraqi Zoro still sticking around towards the lane, but here comes Techno JJ. They're looking for the opportunity to go in, but they're not going to pull that trigger, knowing that their health bars are so low, they don't want to run the risk of ending up dying at the process.
They've still got
Justman is super low though, and there's the Quibble, there's the knock up into the wall, and he is going to get taken down. 1 more kill going over to Techno JJ, 5-0-1 on that Lance. There's the Drifting Dark, there are the Malice and Verdicts, there's the Fountain of Renewal being popped by Gankstars, and it's going to be a Solar Storm taking Keanu Nakoa to half, but 1 kill going over to Gankstars Cerberus as Rising Lotus, they tried to go ahead and re-engage, but they paid for it with their life of that Arden.
Yeah, they were basically baited in by that fountain. Everybody from Gankstars Cerberus is so low, but they knew that they could handle it because they had the fountain used, and they know that Justman had used his fountain in that previous engage. So that's what they were trying to bait them in for in that particular circumstance. Keanu trades his life for the turret, which kind of in a way is worth, but they do lose the gold mine as well. They were never going to contest it though, so trading a life for a turret is never a bad situation. It's a big chunk of global gold going over the team.
It ends up worth it as well, mainly due to the fact that only Techno JJ was there. So since Iraqi Zoro and Net Toilet weren't able to pick up an assist on top of that, they're missing out on a little bit of gold. But having that global gold that they got from picking up that turret, as well as just having a little bit more room to maneuver around the map, now that the turret pressure has evened out, it's going to allow Rising Lotus to have a bit more breathing room.
Yeah, and Rising Lotus need that breathing room right now. They need to start to scale up and pick up some core items. Eve of Harvest has been finished on Samuel, though, and looks like Gankstars Cerberus, they want to make an engage happen.
And the Crucible goes out the moment that we see that Force Accord, and it's not going to be going across on the side of Gankstars Cerberus. That's going to be the Quibble being thrown down. The Gauntlet is on top of Iraqi Zoro, and Net Toilet and Iraqi Zoro caught in a corner. They're going to get taken down. Keanu Nakoa picking up that double kill with those Glimmer shots. And right now, Techno JJ on a full retreat here. He is level 12, surprisingly enough. At 13 minutes in, doesn't really have too much room to survive here. He uses the Githian wall. He's going to try and pop his boots to get away. Question is Lure going to be able to catch him? There is the Malice and Verdict. 1 shot, 1 kill comes out. It is going to find its target. That's going to be 3 kills going over to Keanu Nakoa. That's going to also be the ace for Rising Lotus. And such a huge change in the guard here as Keanu Nakoa was able to pick up 3 kills in that fight. And that was such a well-played fight as well with that Gauntlet placement.
Oh, it was so good. More importantly, let's look at what was going through the mind of Gankstars Cerberus there. They put Iraqi Zoro right at the front. They were trying to bait something to happen in terms of an engage. And then they missed the Force Court because the Crucible was used. And then at that point, Techno JJ was still looking aggressively. I thought he was looking for an Impale target, but he never actually pulled the trigger. And once he started to back off, Justman saw an opportunity to capture Iraqi Zoro and Net Toilet inside the Gauntlet and leave Techno JJ outside of it, because Techno JJ don't think he's got a reflex block yet, so there was no way he was getting through there. So he was unable to join his team, and actually Iraqi Zoro ran straight into the wall of the Gauntlet, and over the wall Kestrel managed to do enough damage to kill him. So Really nice gauntlet placement there. Justman single-handedly giving Rising Lotus another fighting chance in this game.
And just, I can't really harp on that gauntlet placement enough because it caught them right off the corner of the wall as well. They either have to walk into a wall, which they can't exactly do, or they get stunned up by the gauntlet and get killed anyway. So it was just absolutely perfect from Justman. We do see an impale onto him as well, and they're now focusing their attention onto him. There's the force the cord onto Lure, not going to really be doing all that much damage as we do see Iraqi Zoro and Techno JJ focusing down Justman. Net Toilet getting taken down solo, Drifting Dark, as well as the Malins of Vertex doing a lot of damage, but it's going to be Keanu Nakoa taking down Iraqi Zoro and Net Toilet going to be falling as well to Lure. Now they're going to be chasing down Techno JJ. Are they going to be able to find them? There is the Malice and Judgment. He's going to just combat roll away from Lure. Now he's going to be trying to impale over the wall. Finds Keanu Nakoa though. Keanu Nakoa going to be picking up another kill for himself. 8-8 in kills. And Rising Lotus now going to be starting up the Kraken.
Wow, Rising Lotus. What a massive turnaround for them. They seem to have found that opportunity to apply that range damage. They've got that mixed damage this time. It's made defensive itemization a lot harder for Techno JJ and Net Toilet. They can't just stack that shielding like they did previously in this composition. And it just was working out no end to them because Samuel has started to do way more damage than he was previously. And it also means that Keanu is able to deal a significant amount of damage too. With the Breaking Point and the Bone Saw, any armor that they've bought is already going to start to get shredded. Really well played from Rising Lotus thus far. A really good build path from Keanu as well, who's, by the way, farmed quite well. He's still quite far behind Iraqi Zoro, but that doesn't matter because he's picked up the kills to make it back in his favor. He's got 3 items and an Aegis completed, so just one more item left for him to pick up.
One shot, one kill did just get used onto Net Toilet. They're now focusing down that turret. It's going to get taken down almost immediately. And here goes the damage coming in from Lure. Look how much damage just went on to Iraqi Zoro just with that Drifting Dark, Malice, and Verdict combo. It's just absolutely absurd. Techno JJ trying to clear out this Kraken. Iraqi Zoro focusing it down as well. Those supernovas are coming down. But here comes Justman. The Oblivion gets thrown down onto Net Toilet as well, who he's now silenced. Solar Storm goes down to Keanu Nakoa and Justman. Techno JJ trying to secure a kill. They do get the kill onto Keanu Nakoa with that Heliogenesis. Justman going to get taken solo. Techno JJ trying to secure the kill. Is he going to be able to get it is the question. He does, and it's going to be 2 kills going over to Gankstars Cerberus, looking for the 3rd as he is chasing down Lure. Techno JJ not afraid of this Samuel. He's looking to try and push even further forward. Combat roll is available, looking for the impale. Is he going to be able to connect with it is the question. There's the Malice and Verdict. He is going to be connecting with these Malice and Verdicts pretty well, and Techno JJ going in with the impale. He's going to find his target. That's going to be the ace